I'm often asked why I wrote Squish Rabbit, and it's a good question because I grew up in Queensland where it's actually illegal to own rabbits as pets, which is devastating for someone as passionate about rabbits as I am. So I've had to think about this question as to why I have so loved rabbits. And one of the reasons I've come up with is I grew up in quite a spectacular house which my dad built, which is on a cliff top overlooking the ocean in a small coastal town up North Queensland called Mackay. And what you can't see from here, you can see that's on the cliff top and you can see us from aerial view there, but what you can't see is that it's actually a house that's slightly underground. My dad was a big dreamer and he bought this piece of land and took the top of the hill off, put our house in and put the hill back on top of the house. So you can see we're partly inside the hill. So I grew up living in a house that was a little bit like a human rabbit warren, which is I think why I can so sympathise with rabbits and part of where the character came from. It's interesting with ideas, they don't just come out of nowhere, they come from many years of unconsciously collecting thoughts and ideas, and when people write for children, ideas often come from when we were children and all the things that made up our lives. And for me, I've always been someone a bit obsessed with socks, especially stripy socks. And as you can see, I have a lot of different stripy socks that I still wear as an adult, but loved as a child. And in the story of Squish, he likes stripy socks as well. In fact, he even sleeps in one. So that's part of where that idea came from for me. Another thing that came from my childhood is when I was little, I loved making toys or making my own friends, not dissimilar to how Squish tried to solve one of his problems in the story. So when I was very little and I was too silly to be allowed near a sewing machine, I used paper instead and staplers, and this is one of the first toys I ever made. A strange little fantasy creature, a bit like a dog, and I made his own little home and gave him lots of toys to play with and food to eat. I was obsessed with cereal at the time, so I gave him lots of cereal to choose from. So that's where another of the ideas from the story came from.